We'll call the meeting to order and stand for the pledge. Christina, will you do the roll call, please?
Yes. Fish. Johnson. Cole. Lawrence. Marshall. Steen. Mayor Buck.
Here. We've got the agenda. Any additions or corrections? We'll look for an approval.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We've got the minutes from July 11, July 15, and July 29 meetings. We'll look for a motion on that.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approval of claims on pages 11 through 13.
I'll move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the claims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have the consent calendar. That includes 3 wage adjustments and 3 plats and 1 tax abatement. 2 tax abatements.
I move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move to visitors and timed items. This is an opportunity for anyone that would like to address the council on any particular topic, whether it's on the agenda or not on the agenda. If there's something that's going to be on the agenda later, you might want to wait till then, but you can sure talk about anything you want right now. We ask you to come up and limit your comments to 5 minutes, and the podium's open. Okay, come on up.
Mayor and council, is there any Bryce Healy with Sioux Metro Growth Alliance, 196 Harvester Building, Sioux Falls. Is there any opportunity, Mr. Mayor, my president is on his way here from another meeting, to move him down? He would rather do a presentation or take his 5 minutes. Is there any possibility?
Brian, where are we at on that? Yeah, for 5 minutes, I think we can probably do it later.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Okay, we'll move on. Public hearing, special alcohol beverage license for Double D for September 14th, pages 26 through 28. I think it was recommended do pass.
Correct. This is in connection with their street dance held on Dogwood. It's also pertaining to item 9D1, the agreement with them for the street dance. It's the 3rd or 4th time?
Yeah, probably at least 4th, yeah.
I think so. No issues that we've had in the past. Staff's recommendations to approve.
We'll look for a motion. Motion and a second to approve the special alcohol beverage license for Double D Saloon on September 14. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And we've got resolution 24-24, the East Ironwood resolution of necessity. Brian, want to give us a quick?
A quick rundown?
Yeah.
Sure. The resolution of necessity is the first step in the special assessment process. Notices were sent to the affected property owners with the proposed assessments. This is the time for those property owners to come in and object or support the project. There's a number of other steps after this. Once the resolution of necessity is approved, it has to be published, and then there's a 20-day waiting period if it's approved. During that time, there may be a petition filed by concerned citizens in objection to, and if 55% of the property owners affected by the special assessments object, everything gets put on hold until the council considers the petition from the affected property owners. If the resolution of necessity becomes effective, the next step is plans and specs, which is already done, because we've been, this project's been on the works for 3 or 4 years, so the plans and specs are done. Once the plans and specs are done, the project is bid. In our ordinance, any special assessment project has to be bid before mid-April. And then that gives the council time, we also have included in there, if there are objections to the special assessment roll, the project is put on hold and no penalty to us. So we actually do the assessment roll hearing prior to the project commencing. Once again, once we have the bids in, special assessments are calculated, notices are sent to the affected property owners with the exact amount of the special assessment. Public hearing is held on the special assessment roll. The council at that point in time can amend it, approve it, reject it. And then if it's approved, the special assessments are filed with the county for collection with property taxes. So this is just the first step in the process.
Okay, we'll have an opportunity for anybody that wants to address this issue. Or questions from the council. Come on up and give us your name, address.
My name is Jerome Stark. I own lots 4 and 5 of the Larson tract. One, I do not want this road to go through for a couple reasons. My taxes would go up, and I don't care for that to go up. And the reason I bought my acreage is for the peace and quiet. And with this road going through, I will not have any peace and quiet year round because of the ice cats or whatever they are called, and the baseball that's going to be taking place. And my property taxes are already high enough. I'm a single parent or single father, and I can't afford any extra taxes on my place. I mean, I'm a working stiff. I bought this place 25 years ago, and of course now my taxes have gone up tremendously because of just the growth of Brandon. But I can't afford any more taxes. So anyway, just wanted to kind of let you guys know that. I don't want this road to go through.
Okay, thanks for coming in. Anyone else like to speak to the issue? Okay, seeing none. This is something that needs a motion,
Correct.
and this is the first step that sort of,
Yep, it's the first step. Council's choices are either approve or deny the resolution. You could continue it for a future meeting if you want to do that, then you need to state when you want to talk about it again. But those are your three options. This is just the first step.
So motion approved.
keep the process
Would keep
going.
things rolling. And like I said, we would need to get it published, so it would be published next week in next week's paper with the minutes. And then, like I said, there's 20 days for objections to be filed.
Do we want to talk through the purpose of this road a little bit, so the public,
No.
I know we know it, but maybe the public, what's the purpose of this?
You know, during the capital improvement process over the last couple of years, the extension of Ironwood has been discussed to add an entrance, a second entrance exit into Aspen Park. You know, as baseball and softball tournaments get larger, there's a public safety issue or public safety concern, whether it's bad weather or emergency services needed to get into the park. As part of the project, the latest cost estimate for the project is a little over 2.9 million, of which the city would pick up about 80% of it. We would special assess the entire acreage of Aspen Park as part of the assessment process. And then there's about $1.5 million worth of unassessable costs, like a turn lane and stuff like that. So the city would pick up about 80% of the project cost, a little over 80.
Any other questions from the council?
Is this on? Okay, Justin Oakland, 213 West Holly Boulevard. Colin, you asked the purpose of the road, and my question to the council is, how do I get connected to the road? How do I get connected to Ironwood? And what does that look like?
I don't know.
What portion is Justin's land? His is kind of a smaller piece, if I remember right.
Correct. It extends up into,
I'd be the third, I think I'm the third largest piece, actually, according to the
Yeah, pretty
roll
close.
call.
can you rotate it? That's fine. As part of this development engineering plans, correct me if I'm wrong, there would be an extension of a north-south street towards the east side of Justin's property. That would extend through the Peterson property.
And so that's being built with this project?
Nope.
Okay, so again, the question is, how do I get connected to this?
Well, when you look at special assessments, you look at all of the potential properties that may benefit from the improvement.
That may, okay. I'm just trying to find the benefit. And then does anyone, I guess my next question would be, it looks like, is that 437.5 feet? That extends from the Peterson ground into mine. I'm curious where that number came from.
That's the depth of the property would benefit from the construction of Ironwood.
Again, yeah, that's the question. Where's the benefit? I can't get hooked to it.
The area to be assessed was determined by the design engineer.
I think there's a variety of methods as to how these can be assessed, so we tried to find the one that was the most beneficial to the other property owners.
Correct. The sewer and the water assessments are a linear foot. The service lines are per item or per service. The street improvements are assessed on an area basis. So the design engineers took a look at the area to be assessed, not the linear footage of the affected property owners, which would just assess those properties adjacent to Ironwood. So for instance, if we were just going to do the linear foot assessment, the city would be assessed for 66 feet of property. That's the only part of the the only part of Aspen Park that is adjacent to the road. So in order to get around that, we went to an area assessment to include all of Aspen Park in the methodology.
And we do not take this lightly, Justin. We're very sensitive to how this impacts our residents, so just trying to figure out the best way to get access into that Park. I was there once when the sirens went off, the tornado was coming, and we could not get people out fast enough.
Barb, I agree. The road
So that's
is
the
a great idea,
challenge.
but I want to be treated fair. I am also a resident. I feel I do my part in town. And so I just want to be treated like everybody else. And it seems to be a little bit all over the place. And I see what Brian's saying, because if you go on the frontage, then the city, according to the roll call, has no frontage. It would technically be 66 feet. It also says in there in my notes that I will have sewer and water service from this. And again, I don't know how. I haven't been able to get that to date. I'm going the other direction. So there's a few, I think $4,000 to $6,000 in there for that. You know, I just want you guys to take a look at this, and I want to be treated fair. That's all I'm here to ask. You know, is the road needed? Absolutely. I would love to see Aspen Park completely built out, the master plan that the city spent good money on. You know, I'd like to see that implemented. Yesterday, it doesn't work that way, right? It takes time. So I understand these things. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were kind of seeing what I'm seeing, and hopefully you guys can look into it.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Russell Drexler, 1604B, Sioux Boulevard. I don't want that road going through neither. Like Jerry, the neighbor, saying our taxes are gonna go up. We're gonna have traffic there year round with that ice rain going. Why can't you make it a lot shorter and go to the state highway, up to Highway 11? Or go straight north, Maple's gonna go through, and you can't hook up to Maple, because that's gonna go all the way through to 11 from Veterans.
We're not able to hook up to 11. The state won't allow it going up the hill. We looked at that. We actually have some property there.
Right, I know they're nasty about it, but like that, you know, there's like 25 driveways there, one more, you know, to make it a shortcut. But, yeah, I just, hopefully, it's gonna go through eventually, but hopefully not for a while.
Anybody else?
Good evening, Eric Willidson, Lund Engineering, representing Global Investments, their tracks and the Larson tracks. I got the plans and looked at them. It appears there's going to be a public sidewalk on the property. My question would be, this is undeveloped property. Who would maintain that property until it's developed? The sidewalk, I guess.
I assume it would be the property owner.
It's a shared
Is that a
use
6 foot
path.
shared use, citywide, it's a shared use path.
So if it's a shared use path, then the city would maintain.
Okay.
So shared use path, so I'm talking about plowing snow. I mean, so would they have to come over and plow the snow?
Yep.
They already do that on a number of,
The city?
yes.
Okay, so undeveloped property, he wouldn't be responsible to come and move the snow and mow the grass in the boulevard.
Mow the grass, yes.
Mow the grass,
Plow the
yes?
snow on the sidewalk, no.
Okay, so he would have to mow
Yep.
the boulevard.
Correct.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Any other questions on the part of the council?
It's on both,
Currently, it's on.
currently on both sides. Yeah, it's on the south side too in the plans.
Okay. Any other thoughts on part of the council?
You know, yeah, obviously, I'm really sensitive about all the, you know, putting a lot of this on the property owners, but at the same time spending virtually my whole summer down there, with baseball. It's brutal. It's brutal down there, and we gotta figure out a way somehow to get another access in and out of there. We have such a beautiful Aspen Park an area down there, but then when we're holding these huge events, the state tournaments that we hosted, at times it's kind of embarrassing the amount of backup traffic as kids are trying to get dropped off for their games, and we have kids that are on our team that were supposed to be there at a certain time, but they're late because there was a line all the way to out to onto Aspen trying to get into the park. So God forbid something drastic happen. So I think we need to keep this discussion going with being sensitive to the affected property owners around there. But I guess I don't want to kick the can down the road too far, and especially we know how important this was to us as we went through the CIP meetings that we went through. So yeah, I'd like to see something going. But if we need to delay this, and I'm open for that, talking about, hey, maybe some of the concerns that some of the residents that have, that maybe we can have some quick future discussions and see if we can keep this ball rolling a little bit.
So we are confident that we cannot access Highway 11. That's a done deal.
That's what DOT has informed us.
Okay. And going to, they're not gonna let us hook up from Maple either. I mean, that is way in the distance, if
Correct.
that were to happen.
Correct.
So then if there's any other ideas as to get more lanes in there, another access, I guess, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know, but yeah, like Colin said, we need to do something.
So if we pass this, it doesn't lock us into anything at this
Oh,
point?
no,
It
no,
just-
no, it doesn't. It just starts the process along. Like I said, the next step would typically be the design or development of plans and specs, which you already have, because it's been on the books for a while. The next step after that would actually be bids. Once we get the bids, we would develop the assessment roll, then we would do the assessment roll hearing, where the actual assessments would be mailed out to the affected property owners. At that point in time, they can come in and object. You know, as always, special assessments cannot be more than the increase in property values that the properties receive as a benefit from the improvement, and that's, you know, how you determine that. That one's a difficult one. At that assessment roll hearing, the council has a number of choices. You can adopt the assessment roll, you can reject the assessment roll, you can amend the assessment roll, based upon objections from the property owners. And like I said, in our ordinance, we won't start the project until the assessment roll is done. Because a lot of times what'll happen is you do the assessment, you do the project, you then do the assessment roll, and then you may lose some assessments amounts based upon court action or agreement with the council. Now all of a sudden, you're not quite sure how you're gonna fund this thing. So we've got that extra step up front.
Okay, anything else, people want to speak to this issue? If not, I'll look for a motion.
Okay, understanding that it's not a done deal, it's not locked up, it does create opportunity for more discussion, more examination of it. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to pass.
Second. So we have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2424. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll keep keep moving. No old business, standing committee reports. We'll start with the golf course.
Request to hire Kelsey Fisher as a lounge beverage cart attendant.
I'll look for a motion. Motion and second to approve the hiring of the seasonal employee. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Parks and Rec. Sure, you're up.
Yeah, I just put my leg up, so, hey, I appreciate a quick and efficient meeting. I apologize for being a couple minutes late. I know you guys have a lot on your agenda, so I'll be brief too. When I first started with SMGA, Tyler Tortson, Symmetric Growth Alliance out of Sioux Falls. When I started with the organization, we promised that we'd be checking in from time to time and keeping a pulse on things. We appreciate the live streaming and meetings too. We'll tune into some of these remotely as well. But wanted to just stop by and really thank you guys too for your going on 34 years of membership with our organization back to the Makita days, both with all of my predecessors and your predecessors. What I've learned in the economic development field is they say it's a marathon, not a sprint. And so we appreciate the opportunity to have been working with your community for so long in that marathon for some of the biggest wins. And then during times where things are a little bit slower, maybe it has never felt like that here. You guys seem to always be growing and always have things going on. I appreciate the opportunity to work closely too with your Brandon Development Foundation board. Obviously with your city staff too, been able to get to know and work closely with Patrick, your planning and zoning and development director for the last quite a few months. So you guys have an asset there as well. Just a couple highlights, if you will, on my last 10 months. Some of the site selectors when, being an added tool to your team, when looking at like RFIs, when businesses are looking at relocating into our state and advocating for Brandon, working, there was a couple early on that we got to work with directly. One was Project Posterity. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that or recognize that name at all or not too. Early on in our tenure with our team, being able to help navigate where we were in the driver's seat, they came to us directly looking for different places to relocate their business and come into South Dakota. And we were able to help make Brandon the finalist for that, roll out the red carpet, dedicated a whole day, and they got to tour your guys' schools and see your housing development, see the quality of life that you guys have here, and look at a couple sites and really meet some of the people. And they were super impressed. So appreciated that early on in my tenure here with the organization. Even recently in the last couple of weeks, we have another lead too that we're working that we sent over to Patrick that we really are hopeful could be another business from a nearby state that is looking at relocating their people and their team and their business into your community as well. So appreciate the opportunity to facilitate some of that. Got to be part of this Retail Strategies Conference and how can we grow the tax base here, not only with property, but with retail opportunities and business opportunities. So having those conversations in the community. And then that's kind of evolved into this child care task force that I've been fortunate to be a part of with Rachel with the chamber and some of you council members too, in navigating some of that. It's workforce, child care, and housing. Those three are an issue that we see across the state, across the region, across the country is kind of the big three. So working on some of that stuff yet too. And then your SMGA team, we're a staff of 6 right now. I believe told you I was running a little late, but Bryce Healy with our team is here too. We, again, just really appreciate the opportunity to work with you guys. Last thing I'll leave you with too is just a couple invitations. Hopefully you all have received the newest magazine, our Q3 of our Growing Place. Oh, excellent. Yeah, I haven't got the chance to see it in my mailbox yet. So that just hit mailboxes too. That's something we like doing. Our print and digital reach as we're advocating and getting some stories out there and helping tell your guys' story and that of your businesses as well. We have our Southern Sioux Metro Bus Tour coming up on August 20th. Open invitation for anybody, staff, public, you name it, where we help showcase some of our communities. A couple other events too, but hopefully you guys are getting our communication. Feel free to reach out anytime if we can be helpful. But just wanted to stop by and say hi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll move back into Parks and Rec. We have a special event application to use a soccer field for a soccer tournament.
Correct. Legal Latina Soccer League requested to use the McCarty Park Soccer Complex for an adult tournament on August 10th, 17th, and 25th. Park Committee reviewed the request at their July meeting, recommended not, using McCarty Park since it's an adult league, and recommended, that if they wanna hold the tournament, it'd be at the Pioneer Park soccer fields.
Okay, so, I'll look for a motion for the approval in Pioneer Park only. Motion and second to approve. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Request to sell in the park, Heavenly Food.
Correct. As always, if a vendor, a licensed vendor, wants to sell items in one of our parks and need council authorization, they would like to sell in the parks with parking lots. So Park Committee reviewed this at their July council, or their July meeting as well. The only parks that have parking lots, and I'll forget one, Tallgrass, McCarty, and Aspen. So those would be the three parks that they'd be allowed to sell in the parking lots.
Okay, recommended do pass by the Park Committee.
Correct.
I'll look for a motion. Motion and second to approve. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Handicap parking areas in Aspen Park. This is a need approved by the,
Correct,
Park.
add paved parking to the handicap parking spots in Aspen Park. It'd be adjacent, just to the west of Field D, and then adjacent to the playground area on the north end of the park. Estimated cost is a little under $10,000. The reason it's coming in front of the council, it's not in the budget. Work will be done by step between Public Works and Parks Department.
So they're adding spots?
We're not adding, we're just paving them. The issue was that the handicap accessibility with the gravel parking lot, and there is a small ridge between the gravel and the sidewalk.
You're not defined real well either, so.
Correct. So this would eliminate, the handicap accessibility issues down there.
I'll look for a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and second to approve the handicap parking areas. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Special event application for the Kennel Club.
They would like to have a fetch test, with dogs. They requested Aspen Park. Once again, or not Aspen, McCarty. Once again, Park Committee reviewed it and recommended Pioneer. The north part of Aspen Park from the baseball field to the north was not large enough for what they wanted to do. And once again, Park Committee didn't necessarily want to tear up the soccer fields with dogs.
Okay, I think the council's supposed to go down and throw the bones, just so you know. Okay. I'll look for a motion.
We
on
don't
that.
have workers' comp for that.
Motion second to approve. All in favor say aye. Motion carries. And we have a special event with alcohol beverage.
Correct, it's the Bluffs Neighborhood Annual Block Party at Van Buskirk Park. They requested the use of the park as well as a alcohol license, consumption license. They're not selling, this would just be if residents bring their own.
Okay, I'll look for a motion on that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second to approve. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public safety, we've got the police report on 49 to 51. Inspection report on 52 to 53. 29 single-family home permits so far.
So far, more coming.
Looks good. We've got the first reading of ordinance number 712, amending chapter 17-4-5.
Correct, currently in our cannabis licensing regulations, we require license holders to have 180 days of video storage. There's been a request submitted to drop that to 90 so it would match the state statutes. So ordinance 712 would lower that requirement to the 90 days.
I'll look for a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion second to approve. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll move on to administration. Agreement with Double E Saloon for street dance.
This is the item related back to the
Yes.
liquor license.
Look for a motion on that.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion second to approve. All,
We're getting
I hate to pray against rain right now. It's all the same to you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Yep.
The one thing about this, map, I would assume you're gonna include your new patio in this map? Probably?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the map, okay.
All right, resolution 25-24, declaring intent to reimburse expenses with proceeds of the bond sale for the Forest Main project, page 59 and 60.
Just a resolution, and we've already incurred expenses, so this authorizes to reimburse. The resolution has up to 4 million. I don't anticipate in borrowing that much, but I just wanna make sure we're covered when I do.
All right. Motion second to approve resolution 25-24. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 26-24.
This was a email request that we received from South Dakota Municipal League to have the council adopt opposition to IM 28. IM 28 is the reduction or elimination of sales tax on items for human consumption. You know, it's being touted as a grocery tax, but it says human consumption, which needs to be defined yet. Late last week, we got an update from the legislature. Originally, when IM 28 was submitted to the state, there was a fiscal impact statement that came out that was about 125 million in lost revenue to the state. That was based upon a very narrow definition of human consumption just for groceries. This memo that came out changes that a little bit. With the strict definition, they've increased that number to 133.6 million for the state lost revenue. If you use a much broader definition of human consumption, that number goes up to $646 million in lost revenue to the state. Our share of that lost revenue on human consumption is somewhere around $565,000 that we would lose in revenue. So the Municipal League is putting together some opposition. I know there's a couple of other groups out there that are working on opposition to initiated Measure 28. This would be the city of Brandon informing the Municipal League that we do not support IM 28.
Okay, any questions? If not, I'll look for a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Motion second to approve resolution 26-24. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And resolution 28-24, creating the TIF plan for River Park.
Toby apologizes. He is the gentleman that drafts the TIF plan. He had to take his mother to a medical appointment in Rapid. And Quinn, his fellow employee, his wife just had a baby on Thursday. So you're stuck with me. Resolution 28-24 would adopt the TIF plan number 9, which is for the River Park addition, Van Buskirk's addition to the west. Used to be the Risty Farm. Very similar to what we've done in the past with Aspen Ridge. It's a multi-use subdivision comprised of commercial, multifamily, and single-family residential. The TIF plan would cover the entire subdivision, including the single-family residential. That increment would be captured. However, the TIF eligible costs do not include any of the infrastructure in the single-family zoning district. So it would just be covering it or reimbursing the developer for those expenses for the multifamily and commercial areas. There's also in that, similar to the Aspen Ridge, the revenue split would be 80-20. 80% would go to the developer to offset costs, both capital infrastructure costs as well as interest holding costs, and then 20% would come back to the city for future improvements, to be used for future improvements on Holly. Right now, it's estimated that over the course of the life of that TIF district, they'll generate about $18 million. 14.4 would be reimbursed to the developer, and 3.6 would come back to the city.
And the school district is made whole?
School district's made whole, the preliminary determination by the state that it's an economic development district, so the school district would be made whole. It's also estimated that, let me get to the right page here. There, wrong one. We're looking at this thing, if all goes according to plan, getting paid off in 2037. So a fairly short district as far as TIF districts are concerned. Once again, this is a pay-as-you-go district where the developer upfronts all of the costs. So if there's a shortfall in the increments received, the city does not have to make that up. We don't have any debt incurred, so there's virtually no risk to the city for the TIF district. Any questions?
Okay. Any questions? I'll look for a motion. Motion second to approve resolution 2824. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Streets, you got the work report on 115. Is this a time when we can ask about where we're at with the water?
Later.
Okay.
I didn't think anybody would ask.
Core Phase 2B. Change order.
Yep, so this is the first change order of the project. They are requesting 21 days of an extension on their contract time, just mostly for rain delays, and then we had some flooding issues and whatnot. I will say they've been working pretty hard. They did work a little bit over the weekend, and they've been getting out there pretty early, so they are making a good effort to get this done. They're
No,
still
they really are.
And they're still hoping for asphalt on Dogwood this week yet, so hopefully the rain stays away.
Okay. I'll look for a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion second to approve Core Phase 2B change order. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Berkman Industrial Park Mill and Overlay Project change.
Yep, if you remember, we did a couple change orders to this project earlier so that we could replace the crosswalks along Holly Boulevard as well do a mill and overlay along Aspen Boulevard. We weren't able to get the contractor in to do some striping on that mill and overlay right away on Aspen. And so this change order is just to put those flexible tabs in, and then we'll get that painted at a later date.
Okay.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion second to approve. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Water and sewer.
Request to appoint Susan Abrahamson to the Conservation Committee.
Second.
Motion second to approve Susan Abrahamson to the Conservation Committee. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 2724, mainstream resolution.
Dakota Main Stem is very similar to Lewis and Clark. The way they're proposing to bring water from the Missouri River into the eastern part of the state. We are a member of the Dakota Main Stem Board. This is just a resolution, again, reiterating our support for the project. Just a reminder, they are seeking funding from both the state and federal level. I think at this point in time, the time frame is about a 50-year implementation for the project. So this just, gives our support to the project as they submit grant applications to the state and the feds.
Okay, I'll look for a motion on that.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion second to approve. All in favor say aye. Warranty deed for Drainage Track 1, Twin Rivers.
So through the DEP process, it was decided that this little drainage tract would be dedicated to the city once everything was built out. There's some drainage infrastructure there, and then there's also plans to connect that shared use path that goes through that development into Aspen Park, kind of around that pool area. So this is just dedicating that land to the city for $1.
All right. I'll look for a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion and second to approve. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Can we get an update on the water?
Well, the good news is, as of about 3 o'clock this afternoon, we have 2 of the high service pumps back up and running. One of them has to be replaced. We found 2 of those available in Chicago, which will be shipped tomorrow. And the restrictions that we have now can probably come off starting tomorrow. So, everything's up, working.
What happened?
Had a water leak in the lowest level of the water treatment plant, and that's where the high service pumps are, and the reclaim pumps. And the sump pump failed, and we had 3 feet of water in there.
What are we gonna do to not have that happen again?
We're looking at putting an alarm on the sump pump for one, which will be like a float on the floor, so even if it had a couple inches of water there, it'll send an alarm. They're gonna have to do some more maintenance on the sump pump, make sure that that's operating and there's not any debris in the pit itself, so. All the years I've worked for the city and that thing's been here, we've never had that kind of water in there. We've opened pipes up and never had that kind of water in there, so.
Based on information I'm getting from citizens, there's a lot of misinformation. And so I think it's important that I've had people send me text messages and emails about our wells are dry, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, it depends on where you go. I've heard some people that said they saw on Facebook that there was a lack of water, and it goes back to can't produce the water, and there's a lot of misinformation there, so water wasn't safe. Yeah.
I understand that mechanical things break down. We need to figure out a way to not let it happen again, though.
Yep.
Okay? Any questions?
Well, is there something that we need to send out besides what we've done already about water safety, water accessibility? Do we need to address that?
We certainly can. The issue was never sources. The issue was we had equipment failure at the treatment plant, which I believe we posted. So where the rumors came that the wells are going dry, it couldn't be any further from the truth. We have very good producing wells. We have actually 4 wells that produce water for us or can produce water for us. We did switch to well number 3 because it goes directly into the system. It doesn't come into the water treatment plant. So with the high service pumps down, well 3 becomes our fallback safety issue. So there is no issue with the water source. We have plenty of water in the ground. The bottleneck was the 3 high service pumps became inundated with water due to the failure of a sump pump. As we all know, electric motors do not do well in water. They fail. Thus the alarm came off. Raleigh called me very early Sunday morning with the great news. At that point in time, well 3 was already pumping. The water towers were beginning to fill. The first pump was back online 6:30 this morning, and the second pump is online later this afternoon. So we're still looking to replace 1 motor and pump at least. We've talked about floats and alarms this morning. We're investigating how it happened. We know what happened, but now we're investigating how. We've requested information from the contractor as to all of the individuals that were on site on Friday. We would like to talk to them. We'll certainly talk with staff to get their information as to what occurred, and then we'll make some decisions after that.
Okay.
As of now, the misinformation, which is typical for those folks that don't like our city or our water system, how you combat that, I don't know. They're lies, just out and out lies.
Okay.
If anybody has any questions, they can certainly contact City Hall at any time. We will give them the information that we have available.
So then, Raleigh, once we can be up and going again, will we report that to the TV stations? I really appreciate that you got that out there right away. That was really good. Because I got the text message, but not everybody gets text messages.
Yeah, Christina actually put it out on Textedly, the city's website and Facebook, and I think that probably did pretty good to start with. I tried to contact all three of the television stations in Sioux Falls. I only successfully got even a fax sent through to one of them.
It was on KDLT. That's
Yeah.
where I saw it,
I had to
NBC.
leave a voicemail though to get that. There
on
was
Hello?
nobody that answered a phone, so I'm gonna have to do some checking into how to get some type of emergency information out to them. I don't like doing it with a fax or a voicemail that nobody's gonna see until Monday or something,
Right.
so.
Okay.
And I did
appreciate
talk to KDLT this afternoon, gave them an update, the same one that you got, that we've got 3 pumps currently running. I did return a phone call to KSFY, is that the lady that called? Kello, she did not return my call.
She called me.
I'm just kinda curious, how low did the towers get?
Central Tower actually got as low as 5.2 feet.
Central Tower is the old one?
Yep, on Holly. And the Redwood Tower never got below, I wanna say it was 23 feet.
Okay. How many gallons does that equate to that was still in reserve? Any idea?
Full level on the, Redwood Tower is around 37-foot mark. Full on the Central Tower is around 26. And actually, when we did start well 3, the usage in town went down. We only used a little over 1 million gallons, less than 1.1 million, where prior days we were at 1.7, almost 1.8.
Well, I think people have been responsive because I've had people reach out to me saying, is it lifted yet? So they're cognizant of the issue, which is appreciated.
So you think tomorrow we'll go back to normal? Yeah.
Cool weather's helping.
All right, let's move on.
Thank you, Raleigh.
Thanks. No new business?
No new business, no executive session. You've got the sales tax analysis for May. We've also got park P&Z minutes. And then if you're interested, the South Dakota Municipal League Workers' Compensation has an election coming up if you would like to serve on their board.
And one other update, we did receive the FEMA money. I should,
That's not a
yes.
reimbursable expense.
How many years later?
It's been 5 years. Yeah. September,
not
in
quite 5.
September, it'll be 5 years.
Not quite 5.
Yeah. Just shy. Yeah, no.
All right, with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Motion and second to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.